Good morning, everybody. My name is Mr. Borrero. I am the assistant principal of I.S.24. Thank you all for joining us today. It's great to see everybody. We have a good number of people joining us. I would like to introduce you to our principal, who's going to go ahead and introduce our panel today, and our co-host today, Mr. Santamaria, our principal. How are you, Lenny?
Good morning, I.S.24 parents, students, our student presenters this morning, and a very special welcome to Mr. Andrew Kodak, graduate of I.S.24, hashtag alumni, hashtag Pride of Great Kills. We're going to start off with just saying hello first to our students that are going to help moderate this morning. First, it's Garrett Goonan from 8th grade, who will lead us at home with the morning announcement and the Pledge of Allegiance. So, Garrett, it's all yours.
All right. Hello, everybody. Everybody at home, you can stand for the pledge, and everybody on the Google Meet, turn to the left. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Today's announcements are the weather will be very nice out, so all you should go outside and enjoy the weather. It's going to be 81 degrees and it's mostly sunny. Hashtag great day. Everybody just keep in mind that June 15th is the start of our virtual science week. Though we cannot be together face to face, there will be some sort of communication online so that everybody can have fun. The class of 2020 should check out the 8th grade FAQs on the Barnes 24 website for many senior events that are happening later on. And back to you, Mr. Santamaria.
Garrett, thank you so much for starting us off this morning. At this point, I would like to introduce our special guest, Mr. Andrew Kodak. Andrew is a graduate of I.S.24. He's going to share a quick introduction about himself. I just want to let everybody know, and he's probably going to add this as introduction, but Andrew is no stranger to I.S.24 after he left our school, because although he now works in Ohio and is a meteorologist for Spectrum One News, Andrew does make it a point from time to time when he comes back to Staten Island to visit his parents. He tries to come visit our classes at I.S.24 because he has kept in touch with our librarian, Mrs. Poser. So, Andrew, first, thank you for always thinking of us when you come back into town. And I'm going to pass it over to you now just for a quick introduction to our families and all our students that are with us this morning. All yours.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be talking to I.S.24. Some of you I might have met when I was back, I believe, in January or February. And as Mr. Santamaria just said, I make it a point to try to come to 24 whenever I get back. I did graduate at I.S.24 all the way back in 1996. I went to Staten Island Technical High School. I went to SUNY Oneonta in upstate New York. I majored in meteorology, and since then, for the last 16 years last week, I've been working in television, news and weather. I've been in Casper, Wyoming, Wichita, Kansas, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Memphis, Tennessee, did a little freelancing in Austin, Texas, and Kansas City, and now I am in Columbus, and I'm probably going to be here for a while. We do the entire state, and our sister station, New York One, we are basically Ohio One, same thing, Spectrum News, and going to be a busy day today. In fact, as soon as I'm done with you guys, I'll be tracking tornadoes across the state of Ohio.
Well, Andrew, thank you for that intro. And again, we are especially proud to have you with us today, not only as a being born and raised on Staten Island, but for the work that you do, keeping people safe and making everyone aware of what's taking place in the world and weather around us. Now the only thing is you have to let us know what we need to do to get you to New York One News and get you back home to Staten Island eventually. And for anyone watching from afar, we are I.S.24. We are not Channel 24. Andrew is here, a former student and alumni of our school, here to support our students and our families for our special band app presentation to our school community. So again, I want, just in case anyone is listening from afar, don't want anyone to think anything is not that the right thing isn't taking place right now. So thank you, Andrew, and I'm going to pass it over to Mr. Borrero to now introduce our two students in sixth grade that are going to share some questions for Andrew at this time. Go ahead, Mr. Borrero.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Santamaria. That was a great introduction, Andrew. Thank you so much. And right now, what we're going to do is we're going to turn it over to our co-host. And we started doing this a few weeks ago, where our students are now the co-host of our show in the morning, which is awesome. They get to be the anchors for our show. So I'm going to turn it over to Diana from class 610. Diana, what questions do you have for Andrew today?
Good morning, Mr. Kozak. My name is Diana from class 610. My question for you today is, what inspired you to become a meteorologist and begin this career?
All right, thank you for the question, Diana. It's funny because I'm in a weird career where a lot of people I work with, it's one specific thing that made you want to become a meteorologist. I find it all the time in conversations with colleagues all across the country. For me, growing up in Staten Island, my family lived in a two-family house, which they have semi-attached. They have them all over Staten Island. When you leave Staten Island, those types of houses, they're not very common. But it was fortunate for us because my grandmother lived with us. And my grandmother had an old Zenith TV downstairs, because it was like a big piece of furniture. And when I was 4 years old, went downstairs to Grandma's house, and she put on The Wizard of Oz, obviously a movie that was made well before all of our time back in 1939. And once the color kicked in, Munchkinland, the witches, I didn't really care at all about the movie. It didn't appeal to me, to be honest. When I got older, I guess I appreciated it, but all I cared about was the tornado. I kept saying, rewind it, I want to see the tomato. I kept calling it the tomato. I just thought it was the coolest thing in the world because it was one of the things in that entire movie that wasn't fantasy or made up, right? There is actual tornadoes out there. So ever since then, I went to the library, I had my parents get me books. When I was in fifth grade, one of the guys on the Weather Channel came to Staten Island to do a presentation. So it was that movie, it was The Wizard of Oz, when I was 4 years old, that inspired me to become a meteorologist. And I just followed through, and I never thought I ever wanted to be anything else.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Mr. Kozak. Now there's my fellow classmate, Joseph Strano, with a question for you.
Hey, Joseph.
Hello, my name is Joseph Strano from class 610. Thank you for speaking with us today. My question is, if someone my age were interested in meteorology or broadcasting, what suggestions would you give?
Well, it's a very tough career, right? It's a very competitive career, but if we think about it, it's the year 2020, and despite everything else going on in the world right now, everything's competitive, really, no matter what career path you want to choose. So here's what I would say. This is important for anybody that would want to go into broadcasting, meteorology, but really for anybody that wants to get into any new career, in the next couple of years. Once you guys go through high school, college, it goes very, very quick. Make sure that you excel in all the STEM subjects, or STEAM now, because you add in arts, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. It's so important. I wasn't always the best at math, and that's okay. I had tutors, I had people helping me, but make sure that you get the grasping of it and you understand it, because once you go into high school and college, the classes only get tougher. So I would say just make sure that you really get a good understanding of science, technology, and math. Keep up with the latest trends. You guys are all into technology, which is fantastic. We didn't have that nearly what they have now when I was in school. But the other thing is, I would say, if you have a specific career that you think you're laser focused on, kind of like I was, call up a news station. Believe it or not, back in 1996, I was actually in 8th grade in I.S.24, and the blizzard of 96 shut down New York City public schools for the first time, I believe, since 1978, so almost 20 years. And I was measuring the snow outside my house in Great Hills probably every 5 minutes because it was coming down so heavy. And what did I do? I called up the guy over at Channel 5. And he's no longer there. His name was Joe Morano. He was the meteorologist briefly at Channel 5 in New York. And I only knew him because my mom got her nails done with his sister. But I called up and I gave him reports. And eventually I came down and I visited. And I did that with Janice Huff. And now I'm a colleague with Janice Huff over on Channel 4. I see her at conferences. We went out to dinner. So I would say make contacts if you don't feel comfortable calling up a television station or any career. Email. Find an email. If you guys need any help, if anybody is interested and wants any New York City contacts, let me know, because nobody's gonna be mad that you're wanting to get an early look at a career. And I get people all the time locally, kids your age, that will email me and say, "Can I take a look at the station?" or "Can I come for a tour?" And we're always happy to do that. Not right now during COVID, but once it's over, we'll do that again. So yeah, just be proactive, and I think that you can basically, they say follow your dreams. It sounds cliche, but you put enough effort in and you can definitely do it. It's a good question.
Thank you, Mr. Kozak, for your time today. It was a pleasure speaking with you. Back to you, Mr. Santamaria.
Thank you, Joseph and Diana, for your questions for Andrew. So now, Andrew, again, a real pleasure and a joy to have another IS-24 alum with us each Wednesday for these band apps and these moments. We've had students come back and spend some time with us. We've had the superintendent, we've had other students that have prominent roles since they've left us beyond college. So it's really been great to have students come back. And I'm always left with a specific question that I could ask the guests that we have with us. Well, I have a really tough question for you. Now, Diana and Joe had great questions. Mine might be a little tougher. And just so you know, there's some pressure on you here with the question I'm about to ask you, because we have teachers, parents, members of our school community watching and listening right now. So my question is, if you had to pick who was your favorite teacher at IS-24, if you can think back the 3 years that you were there, who was your favorite teacher?
Are the ones that I had watching? No, I'm just kidding. I'll tell you, I had some. First of all, I'm fortunate because not only did I have some amazing teachers at 24, but many of them are still there. So that's that's a little. Here's the thing. I let me do a quick shout out. There's going to be a weird answer. First of all, Miss Posner. She wasn't a teacher. She was my librarian, but she's at the absolute top of the list, obviously. Back then she was Miss Hanson to me, but she was my favorite. There's a few that are no longer there, but Miss Kaplan, who's still there, right?
Known as Miss Manalaeus now.
Miss
Murray, known as Miss Murray now.
Oh, Miss Murray, okay.
Yeah.
So my Miss Kaplan, current Miss Murray, Miss Mazza.
Still with us.
Yeah. And then there was an English teacher that I had. I just remember she had this gigantic paper mache tree in her language arts class, in her classroom. And I can't remember what her name was, but her and Miss McDermott for math. But there were some really, I had some pretty amazing teachers there, but I'd have to say Miss Kaplan was my homeroom teacher in 7th grade. So she was my first foray into 24, because I didn't go there for 6th grade. I went to IS-51, but yeah. So I had a couple of them for sure. I'll tell you this one. There was no not favorite teacher. I had never had a teacher in 24 that I didn't enjoy having. I'll say that.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us. And I just want to say that, this was a great time to have you this week, because we are launching our Family Science Fun Week. So every year we do a Family Science Fun Day, and in the evening all the parents come, and we have all our teachers in over 45 booths specifically working on science activities and experiments, and we're trying to ignite that charge of kids getting involved in science, and that it's not just one-dimensional. It's for boys, it's for girls, it's robotics, technical, investigations, labs. It's a little bit of everything that's out there, and you coming on with us this week really kind of catapults where we're going next week when we start on Monday, Science Week. And we will have over 25 teachers doing videos, and we will be putting them up on YouTube, and we want to share it with you, and we want to promote the sciences. And we want the kids to get involved and recognize that even from home, you can do what we're about to do with them next week. And these are great opportunities to see that science is all around us. Hashtag science will win. And we're really excited about it. And we want to say thank you for taking the time to come down here today. And be with us virtually today, I should say. And I want to say thank you to my 6th grade students. Diana and Joseph, you guys and girls did a wonderful job. You definitely have a future in co-hosting. Maybe not as a weatherman, but certainly as an anchor somewhere. Check it out. This is great stuff. Mr. Santamaria, I'll leave it with you before we say goodbye to our guest for today. How would you like to end?
So just a special thanks again to Diana and Joe for stepping up and helping us. And for Andrew, just we can't say thank you enough for you taking the time to do this. We know you're going to have a busy day later, keeping everybody in Ohio up to date with all the tomatoes that could be coming their way possibly. So good luck with that. Hopefully everything remains safe. And these are just in town to visit mom and dad, and school's in session, and we're not worrying about all this COVID stuff. When you come in to hang out with Miss Poser, just come knock on my door. I'm right across from her. We can hang out for a little bit, okay?
Absolutely. It's been my pleasure. If you guys ever need anything from me, you let me know. And I'm looking forward to everything being back to normal and coming through the halls of 24 again. That means that everything is back to where it should be.
Same here. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, everyone. Andrew, thank you. Diana, Joseph, thank you. We're going to move on to our next piece. Thank you, everyone else. Mr. Santamaria, we got some great questions that were coming through, and I was trying to take note of some of it. We're going to move on, ladies and gentlemen, to some of the questions that are coming through for today. People are asking, what should they do with their textbooks, specifically 8th graders?
So that's a great question. So regarding textbooks, anything soft covered, such as the ELA book, the Passport to Social Studies book, those students keep because they are consumable items. Anything textbook related for either for any other class, we're waiting to see how we can create a drop-off system back at the school. We do not have any new information on that, as a lot of these things, and I know it's frustrating to hear this and it's confusing, but schools cannot just do things on their own without some guidance or understanding from the Department of Education. So we're waiting for an answer on that, on my short list of things that I'm still sharing with the superintendent and her team to get them answers on. So we should have some information hopefully soon on that.
Great. Now, I'm going to remind everybody that as of today, we have continued to update our frequently asked questions that can be found on our homepage, and I'll show you that in one moment. And yes, thank you everybody who's responding. It's good to see everybody on there. Adam as well. I see a lot of shout outs here. But one of the things we want to do is we want to remind everybody that as we are going through the different things, is recognizing the Arista, if you should have missed that, you can visit our homepage and you can go onto our YouTube channel and join the YouTube channel. Our Arista events are on there. Derek, can you just click onto the website for me, please? Yeah. So what we have is you can also, when you go up to the YouTube channel, for all you who have not yet done that, when you click onto it, you click onto the YouTube channel that's right there. And then what happens is you go onto it, you'll see all the videos that we put up. That's where we're going to be putting graduation, awards, videos from our Arista, all the things that we've collected. We're putting it up there. This is the school YouTube channel. Please visit it. Please subscribe to it. That's where you're going to get all of our videos. Over here, we still have the Barnes I.S.24 FAQs, and the 8th grade FAQs is right over here as well. What I'm going to tell you is that we continuously update that particular area to show and to address any of the new things that might have come up. Mr. Santamaria gives us updates on a regular basis, and we will then not only put it in his news email that he puts out to the staff and to the parents, but also here as well. This gives you an opportunity that at your leisure, you get to see what's going on. Can you go back to the school, to Mr. Santamaria for a moment? So this is an excellent opportunity at your leisure to visit our website, do the updates, get involved in that. Incoming 6th grade information, Mr. Santamaria, is what the next question is coming about, which is how will we get information to the incoming 6th grade, and what are some of the ideas that you have in plan for them to collect their information so we can communicate with them as they make the transition from 5th grade to IS-24 6th grade?
So it's very appropriate that question came up today, as myself and the assistant principals all met early this morning to start putting a plan forward on what that could look like, almost to have a virtual orientation meeting for our incoming 6th grade. Right now, we plan on releasing a orientation information session for Monday, June 22nd, where we would pre-record a lot of the information and sort of like a meet the staff and have some info and where to share your information, where parents can share their information with us. We hope to have that ready to go and recorded and released by Monday, June 22nd. So we're working on that right now, and this way families can understand what to expect in September. Now, by then, a lot of information may still not be made clear to us. Chancellor, in our meeting with the Chancellor this week through virtual meetings to try to understand what the start of the school year could look like in September. There is no specific plan yet. Nothing has been announced on what it definitely will be. We have yet to even see a calendar because we don't know if schools could be staggered in terms of when they're going to start, or if they're even going to start at the same time. So a lot of this information is unclear right now, but we will still try to hold some kind of orientation to discuss classes, sharing of information, a calendar, if anything is possibly released, summer assignments for summer work, and how that would be collected upon our return in September. So we're working on putting all that together into one document, creating a video presentation that we can share, and we're waiting as long as possible to release that because in hopes that more information comes out that can help our decision making. Otherwise, what gets released on the 22nd is going to be very minimal in terms of just getting to know some of the staff and what to possibly expect for September. So we hope to release something again by the 22nd of June.
Thank you very much, Mr. Santamaria. So the last question we're going to take for today will be from Adam. Adam is asking, is there going to be summer school? And is it going to be required for students to attend? And how is that going to take place? How do they get decided who goes and who doesn't?
So the New York City Department of Education had all schools change their final marking period grading policy that instead of a number, students in the 4th marking period would receive a grade code. And the codes would signify students that are meeting standards, need improvement, or that the class or the course is still in progress, which means you haven't completed enough to say that you passed the course, which will require you and mandate a student to go to summer school. A student will be notified within the next 10 days if they have to attend remote summer school. There will be no in-person summer school. It will be done remotely. For students at I.S.24 in grades 6, 7, and 8, our remote sessions will take place through I.S.25 because that was the site where summer school was going to be held if we were going to be in person. So the principal of I.S.75 is going to be the summer school principal. I will be assisting, as well as the principal from I.S.7, I.S.34, and I.S.72. along with I.S.75. So students will receive information and instructions if they've been selected to take part in remote summer school, and that's if they received a code that shows that they have not met the requirement to having passed a class. If you're in the 8th grade, the requirement is that you pass your 4 major subject courses. If a student has not passed 1, 2, 3, or all of them with a code that they receive, then they will be mandated to attend summer school and will graduate in August at the completion of summer remote learning. A student in 6th and 7th grade, if you receive a course not completed in summer school, and students and families will be notified of that within the next 7 to 10 days, as teachers are working on that and communicating with the assistant principals on what that could look like based on the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th marking period grades. So a decision to go to summer school is not based just on the 4th marking period or what a student completed and how they were accountable in the fourth marking period, we look at the entire school year. So the first, second, and third marking period still counts. We were in school. That doesn't just disappear. It's just that the instead of a number grade in the fourth marking period, you'll receive a letter code, which means you've met the standards. N for needs improvement, which means a teacher is recommending you for summer school, or a code as you're being mandated for summer school, which would be an NX that a student would see on their report card. But families will be notified of that, like I said, in the next 7 to 10 days.
Thank you very much, Mr. Santamaria, for that very detailed answer in reference to that. Ladies and gentlemen, we are also going to go ahead and have that up on our FAQs. We have questions that are coming in for attendance awards and things of that nature. Mark, I see your question. We're going to go ahead and put that in our FAQs. And for now, what we'll do is all the questions that did come in, we will enter them into the FAQs for our school. So thank you very much for submitting your questions. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the things that we also just want to end with right now is we are going into our breast cancer fundraising walk, which is starting to take place tomorrow. So if you're interested in that, please look at our social media platforms. Information is going to be there. And then last but not least, we are going to be launching our Science Week next week, and we will do a special interview and a launch next Monday at 11:15. Next Monday, we're going to do 2 band meetings next week. One is on Monday, one is on Wednesday, to go ahead and launch all the wonderful videos and the things that the teachers are working on and things that our students can get involved in at home. So look forward to all the great details, awards, prizes you're going to win. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining us.